right, so welcome to the Gift of Open Source. This is a Pantheon sponsored session. I am Tara King and I need to find my notes so I can switch the slide. There we are. I am the Developer Outreach Manager at Pantheon, which means I get to hang out with the Drupal community all day, learning what Drupal developers and web ops pros are up to and bring it back to Pantheon. So it's an awesome job. You could reach me at tara.king@pantheon.io or as Sparkling Robots on the whole internet, anywhere you want. I'm basically Sparkling Robots everywhere. When I'm not talking about community and open source, I am usually playing board games and reading books and working on diversity, inclusion, and equity in free and open source software communities. And I am coming to you today from Albuquerque, New Mexico in the United States. And I have a co-presenter who I will let introduce herself.
Awesome. Thanks, Tara. Hey, everybody. My name is McKenna, and I am a community coordinator here at Pantheon. Before we get started, I do want to share a little bit about myself. I am super excited to be here. This is not only my very first time delivering a session, but also my very first time at DrupalCon Europe. Yay! So I am really excited and honored to be here with you guys. Some things I enjoy doing outside of work is being outdoors. I love to hike and camp and fish. I've got a 2-year-old pitty pup that I actually had adopted through fostering. So I am a foster hero in Phoenix, Arizona. I spend a lot of time rescuing dogs and loving on them. Tara will tell you I often come to meetings with puppies in my hands. So I do that a lot. Yes. And then I also am really big on international travel. I've been to a lot of countries. I wish I could be in Barcelona today, but I'm crossing my fingers that next year I'll be able to attend DrupalCon Europe in person. Also, I do reside in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm not sure if I said that, but yeah, I am in the States as well. Next slide, please. So before we actually jump in here and get started, I did want to kind of give a brief overview of what we're going to be talking about today. So to kick things off, we're going to go ahead and share a little bit about what the Gift of Open Source actually is. We're then going to jump into how to get started, so how to register for the event, how to find our team on Slack, and other things. And then Tara will take over and kind of give you a more in-depth overview of all the awesome ways you can contribute, how to actually get credit for those contributions, which is extremely important, so you can get some really sweet swag that we have. And then we'll kind of dip into all the awesome ways to connect with us throughout the event, through trainings, giveaways, all of that really cool stuff. And then, of course, we should have about 10 to 15 minutes for any kind of questions that come through. Next slide, please. Awesome. Without further ado, what exactly is the Gift Open Source? So the Gift Open Source is our very first free community challenge here at Pantheon. It takes place during the entire month of December, so it's actually happening right now. And the great thing about that is it's open the entire month. So you can actually go ahead and register, which will walk you through that process here in a few seconds. The purpose of this event is to sprinkle some extra cheer during the holiday season by just contributing back to the open source projects that you already love. This can be done through WordPress contributions, Drupal, Pantheon repos, or pretty much any open source project out there. You know, in the spirit of inclusivity, we really wanted to open this up to people of all different backgrounds and skill levels. So if you're like me, who's fairly new to open source, we have a lot of really great opportunities and both code and non-code contributions that can get you started on this path. Next slide, please. In true Pantheon fashion, we have some pretty awesome swag to give away. I am really excited about these t-shirts. I think they look awesome. But for the first 300 people that register for the event, contribute at least 2 open source projects, and actually provide proof of those contributions in our forum, you will actually receive a Gift to Open Source t-shirt, which you see here on the right-hand side. I will let you know that these t-shirts are limited, but you do have the option to choose between a black or a white t-shirt, so we are leaving that open to you. And you will receive that link after the event to claim those. I would like to also point out that if you're feeling extra giving this season, we are allowing people to opt out of receiving these t-shirts. And in return, we will actually donate those funds in your name to either the WordPress Foundation or the Drupal Association. The choice is absolutely yours, but we obviously are really passionate about open source too and plan on giving back in other ways. Outside of that, another good thing here is that if you're not one of the first 200 people, do not fret. We do have really awesome swag bags, which I'm not going to tell you what's coming in there because I like the delight experience of it. But we've got some cool things to give away for you as well. And we will definitely be sending those to you guys after the event. Next slide, please. Awesome. So how do you get started? If you have not already registered for the event, like I said a little bit earlier, we are still accepting registrations. It is open until the very last day of December. So you could literally come in and register for the event on the 31st, provide contributions, and still get a really awesome swag bag. So with that being said, what you want to go ahead and do first is head on over to pantheon.io/gift-open-source. That is our registration page. This is a place that also has all the FAQs. So if there's anything we don't cover today that you have questions about, you can definitely take a peek here. After you register, you will receive a confirmation email that will include some pretty good details for you as well in there. After you've done that, you definitely want to go ahead and join the Pantheon community. Not only is this going to be the place that we actually ask you to provide proof of your contributions, but it's also a way for our team to kind of connect with you, help you out along the way. And also it's just a great place to connect with other open source enthusiasts from around the world, right? So it's a great place to be. And then last but not least, you definitely want to head over to our Slack. We can be found in slacken.pantheon.io. There is a channel specifically for this challenge. It is the gift to open source. Tara and I and some of our cohorts are all in that channel. So we are there to answer any questions you have, even after DrupalCon. If you don't catch us, definitely pop in there. We are there to help support you, help connect you with projects, things like that. So you definitely want to find us there as well. And with that being said, I do believe I'm passing it over to Tara to talk about all the awesome ways you can contribute and a little bit deeper dive. So Tara, it's all yours. Tara, I think you're on mute.
Thanks. So there are so many ways to contribute to the gift of open source. We wanted to really support both the two open web projects that are kind of the core of the Pantheon ecosystem, but also there are a number of other projects that support and extend those CMSs. So with Drupal, you could contribute to documentation, organizing events, mentorship, of course, the code itself, or contrib space. We do have WordPress people as well. And I know sometimes WordPress people come to DrupalCon. So I still have some WordPress information in here, but you're free to ignore it if that's your preference. In WordPress, of course, you can contribute to WordPress core. There is a bunch of endeavors around diversifying speaker rosters, or you can help in the support forums. There's a ton of different ways. And of course, if you're contributing to something like Gatsby, MySQL, PHP itself, those are all supporting technologies and extending technologies for Drupal and WordPress, so those count as well. And certainly last but not least, Pantheon has our own open source repos. So if you wanted to contribute to our build tools project or our documentation or anything like that, those would also count. So there's a ton of different ways. And part of the thing that I always have struggled with as a contributor to the Drupal project and now to the WordPress project is, how do I sort out what to do? There's so many different things out there, and it can be really, really complicated to find your way through the contribution sort of ladder. So I'm going to highlight a few projects right now that are good opportunities to get started in contribution. If you have specific skills you want to give back to the project, you can drop that in the chat and we'd be happy to talk about that. And I'd be happy to try to match you up with a project that fits well. I think one of the great things about the gift of open source is that it is both giving back to the Drupal project, but it also gives you so much. You learn from it, you make new friends, you meet new professional contacts. I know it's made a huge difference in my career. So we're just really here to sort of share all those benefits with everyone. So few sort of hand-selected projects that might help. If you're not yet familiar with the Bug Smash initiative, this is their awesome little illustration for their project. It is a community initiative to fix known bugs in Drupal core. They have smashed or fixed almost 900 issues against Drupal 9 and 8. And what that means is either fix the bug if it's real, or otherwise verify that the bug is either acting as intended, or maybe it's a feature request. A whole bunch of stuff could go into that. This link here, which I'll drop in the chat, takes you to their awesome landing page. They have issues that are curated for developers, for project managers, for site builders. They have tags to explain what's needed for a given issue. And then I think best of all, they have their own Slack channel in Drupal Slack, just pound bug smash. And you can go there to get support for your particular bug that you've adopted. So especially now when we don't have our big mentorship days in the same way, we still have them, and I'll talk about that in a moment, but it's sometimes a little bit harder to get support. That channel is doing fantastic work, and I think will really help you move forward with your first Drupal contribution. Yeah, cool. And I am seeing some questions come through, and we have plenty of time for questions. So keep dropping those in there and we'll answer them at the end. And here is your Bug Smash link in the chat. If you're a WordPress person, or if you want to get started in WordPress, we are kind of equal opportunity about WordPress and Drupal. There is an awesome list of good first bugs. So again, it can be really hard to get started. These are bugs that are fairly well contained, so you don't need to know lots about different subsystems in WordPress or anything like that. You can jump in and solve this one bug relatively easily with one person. So also a really awesome place to get started. If you are not a coder and those other tasks don't seem interesting to you, but you are interested in diversity, equity, and inclusion, obviously a passion of mine, there are a number of ways to give back. Drupal diversity inclusion, actually we have a booth here at the event. You're welcome to come visit us and sign up for a newsletter there. We also have meetings every Thursday. Those happen at noon Eastern time, which I should mentally translate into CET time, but I'm not going to try that. You can attend those and get credit. We put credit on the Drupal.org issue queue. You can participate in our issue queue. We have a bunch of open issues and you can get credit that way. There's also a speaker diversity initiative inside of WordPress. They have a meeting today in 2.5 hours on the WordPress Slack, where people there are helping to diversify the speakers that are happening at WordPress events that are getting invited. And then last but not least, Pantheon has an open source inclusive language guide. So this was a document we put together to help Pantheors, which is what we call Pantheon employees, communicate more inclusively with each other, as well as for our community to contribute back in an inclusive manner. So this document is fully open sourced. And if you have any additions, changes, you can open a pull request on GitHub and let us know what you think it should be. So this is a great way if you have writing skills, communication skills, marketing skills, all of those things can be used towards diversity and inclusion efforts in the Drupal project. Ooh, there we go. Sorry, this might be a little blurry. I hope it's visible. There are contribution opportunities here at DrupalCon, and those count too, right? Like this doesn't have to be officially Pantheon sanctioned. Anything in the Drupal project counts. So daily during DrupalCon Europe, there are contribution rooms going on, but if you want mentorship, on Friday is the day to come. And if you know somebody who's not in DrupalCon Europe, they can actually get tickets just for the contribution day if they want to do that. And there will also be a first-time contributor workshop on Friday. That really helps walk you through all the details. So if you want to get started there, that's a great opportunity. We're also doing a bunch of workshops throughout the month of December with Amy June Heinlein of Canopy. Basically, same idea, getting people up to speed, teaching everyone how to give back. So these are great opportunities to kind of get your first commit. This is how I got my first contribution made to Drupal, was through a contribution day at a DrupalCon. So they have a special place in my heart. Once you've made your contribution, whatever it is, typically you'll have maybe a link to the work that got done on Drupal.org or on the Gatsby repo, wherever you're working. So what we want you to do is log into our Pantheon community. The link again is in the chat. Put a link or a screenshot of what you've contributed in the post, and also explain like kind of what your impact was, right? Because really this is all about what gets done. There are some other similar challenges out there that I think sometimes don't have the highest quality of contributions. And we really want to make sure people understand, what's being given back, how it all, fits together in the greater picture of the Drupal project. And then once you've done that, you're basically done. Once we have your contributions, we will go in and confirm them, and then you'll get a link to get your awesome swag. And then, yeah, you get to feel awesome about yourself and have a new t-shirt. So who doesn't like that, right? And if you need more support during the month of December, our team is available at all times to help you out. And this is literally any part of Drupal contribution. We may not know the answer, but we can probably connect you to somebody who does. We have office hours. These are on Tuesdays. Once you put your email in our registration form, you'll get all this information. So you should have links to all of it. So every week in December, we have basically an hour for you to come and ask questions. Yesterday, I introduced someone to the Bug Smash initiative, and we talked all about that. That was really fun. We also are here to help people learn how to do non-code contributions. So we've done some workshops around that. We're going to be posting the videos for those. And of course, code contributions as well. Those workshops are still coming up. And we do have a giveaway happening. I will drop the thread in the chat. You tell us how open source has changed your life, and we will draw one random winner to give a little bit of extra special swag sparkles. And with that, these are the links you need, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Okay, let's see. Looks like we have a question from John. Can people count speaking or organizing at DrupalCon Europe as contributing? Absolutely, totally counts. Speaking is sharing knowledge, that's really important. And organizing is helping others share knowledge. That's also really critical. Typically, DrupalCons will have threads on Drupal.org in the issue queues where credit will be given. But also, we're happy to accept screenshots. A lot of open source work, as much as we try to get it in the issue queue and get it credited and organized, a lot of it happens very ad hoc. And so I think sometimes screenshots are the best we're going to be able to do. So yes, absolutely counts. Which means McKenna, you're speaking right now, so it counts.
Yes, I actually am very excited that I get to finally check one off for contribution. And I also, Tara, will be attending the mentoring day. I have a lot to learn in the Drupal space, so I'm excited to also contribute that way and hopefully meet some new friends.
Awesome. It's so much fun. It's so much fun. Any other questions? I don't see any in the chat, but we have time. All right. Well, we don't need to keep you. Thank you so much for attending. And more importantly, for your interest in giving back to Drupal. We think it's such a critical part of the open source ecosystem and want to keep, seeing it succeed and all of that. So if you have any further questions, again, if you want help with your contribution or anything like that, you can drop by the Pantheon booth. We are there, not all of the time, but a lot of the time. And our community is open 24/7, 365, and there are over 3,000, I think it's like almost 3,700 extremely helpful, knowledgeable, experienced, and generous Drupal developers, project managers, etc., in there to help you out. So don't be shy. That's kind of the deal with open source. You raise your hand and that's how you get help. So please do, and we'll be around to help. And thank you so much for your time today.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.